Now, the Young Turks proudly present a naked look at the party of family values, where GOP stands for and right to life takes a backseat to right to licentiousness. Republican Sexcapades, where real family values don't have a prayer. Republican Sexcapades. Hide the altar boys and cover the kiddies' ears. Here's today's edition of Republican Sexcapades with Cliff Schecter.
Cliff, it's good to have you back.
Good to be back, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Now, Cliff is the president of Libertas LLC at this point. They do public relations and political consulting. And, of course, you can find him on Twitter.com/Cliff Schecter as well. And, of course, he does Sexcapades for us. So what's our first topic today, Cliff?
Great story out there in your part of the world in California. One of my favorites, personally. We've got a guy named John Marcotte, who's a 38-year-old married father of two, who decided that with all the family values, I put that in quotes, rhetoric surrounding the repeal of gay marriage in California, he would go ahead and take that a step further, because as we know, all new gay marriages threaten heterosexual ones. I've felt threatened quite often, that we would actually ban divorce in California and really just go that whole final step. And, go ahead.
Yeah, that makes sense, and we've had him on the show, and he makes a compelling argument for it. Are any of the right-wingers buying into it? Do they get that it's a joke? Are they offended? Or because I'm interested in their reaction, because they can't really defend it because it's in the Bible that you're not supposed to get divorced, theoretically, according to them, according to the Catholics at least.
Right. Well, we know the Bible is all literal. Yeah, well, you know, what you've got is, I mean, I think you talk to some people, and there's some interviews that I've seen on the street where there were some people that were sort of conservative and said, yeah, let's do it. But the more interesting reaction is from not the grassroots, it's the conservative elites, who we know are all a bunch of hypocrites because we do this segment. And, of course, the California Family Council, which is a coalition of different conservative and religious groups, and they were all out there on Proposition 8 now, have said they would love to see this, and I'm sure they would, because it's not like half their members, of course, would have to leave California, but making it illegal would be, quote, impractical. So it's completely practical to ban the rights of loving gay couples. However, taking away certain rights from heterosexual couples, that's not practical.
The reason I love this movement that this guy's put together is because, look, if you're going to make it, quote-unquote, biblically based, and you're saying, hey, that's why we can't have gay marriage, it's literally impossible to argue with his point that, you know what, then you shouldn't have divorce. That obviously attacks traditional marriage more than gay marriage.
Right. I mean, the biblical part, and then, of course, their sort of rhetorical argument that this is all about, as they made sure to say, it's all about strengthening the one man, one woman union. It's all about, and that's what this is about, because gay marriage, of course, threatens our marriages, as we know, because we feel that every day, that pressure. So you'd think they'd jump on board immediately. I mean, let's outlaw divorce. It's biblical. It makes sense rhetorically with what they're saying, fits in with their strategy. Let's make sure that we strengthen the institution of marriage every way we can.
Well, in order to help that, the California Marriage Protection Act proponents have put together a little commercial, and we got our hands on it, and I wanted to play it for you guys. Maybe it'll help convince some of the conservatives in the audience. Let's watch.
Right now, traditional marriage is under attack. An epidemic is sweeping our nation, and you have the power to help.
Please, help protect marriage by voting yes on the Marriage Protection Act.
The 2010 California Marriage Protection Act will make it illegal to get divorced in the state of California.
Marriage isn't a used tissue you can just throw away. You have to sleep with that snotty Kleenex for the rest of your life.
A woman shouldn't feel entitled to own property or have control over her financial affairs.
When a man commits to marriage, he's committing to taking care of me forever.
Children of single-parent homes are repulsive and unlovable.
My grandma used to say,
marry in haste, repent in leisure.
And that means don't divorce. She also said,
You made your bed, now go lie in it.
that means make your bed.
Sure, Jesus still loves you if you get divorced. Just not as much as before.
Hell is eternal, just like your marriage is supposed to be.
John and Kate plus 8 divided by 2 equals mortal sin.
In the olden days, divorces were celebrated by stoning. I mean, punished.
You said till death do us part. You're not dead yet.
You can't have spousal abuse without a spouse.
Divorce is unnatural. Like polyester, glasses, and Twinkies.
Socialist countries like Canada condone divorce. What did we even fight the communists in World War II for?
If outlawing divorce was good enough for the Babylonians, then it's good enough for California.
If we allow anyone to get divorced, before you know it, people will be divorcing their dogs.
Vote yes, because marriage isn't a right, it's a responsibility.
Okay. My two favorite parts of that commercial were, you said till death do us apart, and you're not dead yet. and then next thing you know, people will be divorcing their dogs. That was awesome.
I was a big fan of fighting the communists during World War II, too. That was, can I ask you a question? Because obviously I wasn't watching it while I'm on the phone with you here. Do you know who did that ad?
You know, it says vote yes at the end, so I presume the people behind the California Marriage Protection Act. So,
okay.
And they've got a lot of, obviously comedians working with them, et cetera, so they got some help on that. Although it's very, very serious, and I want people in California to take it seriously, especially Tiger Woods. Okay, so now
we're looking to see whether he's a Republican. We could add him in next week.
Yes, that's true. All right, now let's go to the C Street debacle as it's related to Uganda. Now, on the show earlier in the week, we talked about how Uganda is considering a new law likely to pass that would not only make homosexuality illegal, but you would get life in prison, unless, of course, you were an aggravated practitioner of homosexuality, in which case you get death.
Right.
Now, first, before we do anything else, what does aggravated homosexuality mean in this law, Cliff?
Yeah, well, first of all, their law already, you can get life in prison for being gay. So the aggravated homosexuality decides to take it up a notch into that further ether of intolerance that you almost thought they couldn't reach. Basically what they're saying, they have a couple of specific cases. If a gay man has sex with another man who's disabled, I mean, assuming, of course, I would guess they're saying that would mean it's rape in their demented minds. That's aggravated homosexuality, and the guy can be put to death. Use of any drugs or intoxicants in seeking gay sex. So let's rule out right now any college sex, of course. Buy someone a drink at a bar, have sex, death penalty. That seems like solid law, too. And there are now going to be a number of other cases where if you don't report somebody, very McCarthyite, good stuff here, that you know is gay, because God forbid they're gay, then you could go to jail for life. Like, let's say, your son or daughter, family member, and if you promote the idea of homosexuality, promote it, including foreigners. So keep that in mind, Jack, next time you go to Uganda. You can go to prison for that.
Yes, 7 years if you're in favor of gay rights in Uganda. So note to self on that one. All right, now, why are we talking about this in the context of Republican sexcapades?
Because the potentially most hypocritical bastards on the face of the earth that we've been learning more and more about over the last year. A great book by Jeff Charlotte on this topic, the family, this elite religious group that's been around for many, many decades and lives in that wonderful C Street house in Washington. The one that Mark Sanford belonged to, at least the Appalachian Trail Division, and Senator John Ensign, who is obviously a devout man who thinks it's pretty cool to sleep with his aides and the wife of another, an aide of his, and try to bribe them with money through his parents. And then we've got Representative Chuck Pickering, or Chip as he likes to be called, who lived there and actually had trysts with a woman named Elizabeth Creekmore Bird there, and his wife is now, of course, he's getting divorced and his wife is suing her. And he just happens to now be a lobbyist for Cellular South, which is owned by the family of Elizabeth Creekmore Bird. So these guys, who obviously aren't involved in anything sleazy at all, and of course, we want to mention also that Senator Strom Thurmond was another member of the family who, if we were to give out, I would think the first Young Turks Republican Sexcapades Lifetime Achievement Award, that would most likely go to Strom Thurmond. These are all people associated with the family and that scummy C Street house, and they are involved as a member of the family, who's a member of the parliament in Uganda because they're an international organization. His name is David Bahati, who's the one who's pushing this.
So, is Bahati in good standing with the family? Does he push that in Uganda, and do they fund him at all? So is that a connection?
Absolutely fund. They fund a lot of what he does. He's got like a youth corps because God knows you want to send your kids to be trained by this guy. And he's supported. He's funded. He's in good standing. There's absolutely nothing he's doing that is not entirely approved. As we know, his good pal, the Reverend Warren, wouldn't even weigh in. He's been at his church talking about a variety of issues. He wouldn't even weigh in and criticize what's going on over there. So there's many U.S. connections, and the C Street family connection is one that's still very, very strong, and they love him.
All right,
he's a swell guy.
All right, Cliff Schecter with this edition of Republican Sexcapades, and you could all follow Cliff at Twitter by following him at Cliff Schecter, and his company is Libertas LLC. Thanks for joining us, Cliff. We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Jay. Take care, buddy.
You too. Young Turks.